What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and today I'm going to be bringing you another book review. Now, today I'm going to be reviewing a different type of book that I haven't really reviewed before. It's not anything Star Wars related or big franchise related. It's a book that is a sequel to a book that I really got into earlier this year, and this book is called Dear Justice. Now, for a little bit of backstory, if you don't know what this book series is about, the first book is about a boy named Justice McAllister who is basically working on a personal project where he's imagining himself writing to Martin Luther King. And it's a story that deals with a lot of racism and in great realistic detail talks about the injustices within the justice quote-unquote system. And it's just a very in-depth story that's also manages to be entertaining and has a lot of fun characters, and that I was just surprised how invested I got into that book. And this book, the sequel, Dear Justice, is about the character Quan Banks, who is the cousin of the Justice, the protagonist of the first book, Justice's friend, Manny. So he's just this character that's just been beaten down by life repeatedly. His father got unlawfully arrested when he was very young, and this stepfather came into the picture who abuses his mom, and throughout his childhood he was just trying to protect and keep his siblings safe. And the stepfather would go disappearing for months at a time, and eventually he turns to the life of crime and joins up with this arms dealer organization that a lot of other people around his same age have also kind of joined into. And eventually he gets unlawfully arrested for the murder of a police officer, which he did not commit. And the story is basically just him trying to find his way out of it, and through justice is able to build his support system out and is eventually able to get out of jail. And it's such an inspirational story, I feel. It's, I talk about this all the time, but I always love the thematic element of getting back up no matter how beaten down you feel. And I think that's such an inspirational message, and they really captured that. Nic Stone, the author, really captured that in this story. This character, Quan, who she said she was inspired to write this book because of the fact that she was reached out to by people who read the first book saying that they couldn't quite connect with the story of that book quite as much because of the fact that Justice, despite dealing with plenty of injustice, was a character that was somewhat privileged and came from a good, wealthy family and so on. But in this story, it's just this character that doesn't have any privileges, doesn't have any, great rich people who support him or anything. He's just someone that's been beaten down repeatedly by life and is a victim of circumstance and fell in with some shady folks and did some shady things that he should not have done, but that he didn't really have a choice in the matter to do or not. He just wanted to. He did bad things for the right reasons, right? And it's such a beautiful story, and I think it's just so inspiring, just the story about this character that's just been so repeatedly beaten down by life, who still finds a way to climb his way out of it. And there are little moments of humor throughout the book that come from the characters. There's this one example where he's writing a letter to the character Justice and reveals that he did not kill the police officer that he was accused of murdering, and that he knows who did it. But then in the next chapter, he's just like, P.S. I'm never going to tell you who did it. It's kind of funny, there's kind of these little comedic moments throughout it. And they work really well from a character standpoint and keep it relatable while also treating the subject matter with maturity. It's that's my problem with a lot of franchises and things today, is that they never treat the subject matter with enough maturity for me to actually become invested without it becoming too jokey. That's the problem with a lot of Marvel projects, right? But with this story, it's just so well balanced. It's entertaining to read while still being very just, tragic and sad and dour, but still being uplifting and spiritful. It's just such a well-done story, and I feel like it can do nothing but inspire people to, instill hope in people, right? It's a story about, once again, just climbing back up, getting up out of that hole that you've kind of dug yourself into. And it's, the character Quan constantly asks himself, like, things like, what can I offer the world? Like, people are telling him, like, oh, you're a wonderful person, you have a lot to offer this world, and we're gonna get you out of jail. And he's constantly asking himself and others, like, what is it that I have to offer the world once I get out, after all that I've done wrong? And I feel like that's kind of a thing that a lot of people can relate to. Like, what is it? What do I have to offer the world? And Nic Stone says that in the author's note at the end of the book. He said, "I don't know who you are, and I don't have to know who you are to know that you are an amazing person and you have so much to offer this world." And I think that's such a powerful message. And just this book is just so perfect, like, in every respect. Like, I enjoyed the first book a lot. I love the first book, but there were elements to it that I didn't enjoy a lot. But this, like, well, I mean, I enjoyed a lot of it, but there were elements that I didn't love. But with this one, it's just everything was done to perfection, I felt. And it is because she handled this differently than she did the first one. The first one's great, don't get me wrong, but this one, she said that she really interacted with a lot of people in a similar position to Quan, and that the most fictionalized element, she says that it's the most fictionalized book she's ever written and the most realistic, because it's the most realistic in the sense of the subject matter that she tackles, but it's also the most fictionalized because of the support group she invented for Quan, and because a lot of people she talked to didn't have access to such a wonderful support group like Quan did in the book. And that's just really sad to think about, and it really does make you think. And it's just one of the stories that makes me feel just glad about where I am in life, like lucky about where I am in life and about other people out there. And it's just it's a book that makes you think. It really is. It's a really powerful story, and I would recommend it to anyone who is interested. I feel like, anyone can take something away from this, even if you're not in the exact same position as Quan. But if you're a person who's just dealing with, I don't know, mental health issues or anxiety or anything, this character throughout this book, it just deals with so much and has just had so much go wrong in his life that anyone can really connect with him. If anything is going wrong in their life, or there's anything that they struggle with, you can relate to this character. And I think it's just so well done. Nic Stone did a fantastic job with this book. It's one of my favorite books I've read in a long time, and I honestly think it's perfect. I can't think of anything wrong with it. I loved this book, and that's about all I have to say about Dear Justice. Now, with that said, you guys, please let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Have you read Dear Martin and want to read Dear Justice? Have you read both? Have you not read either and are now interested because of this review? Just whatever your thoughts are, please let me know them all in the comments below. And of course, as always, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care,